So here we are on part 2 of hem stitching, and as you can see, we've already gotten all of our thread pulled out. We have double folded up and have pinned it in place. What we're going to need for this step is just some sewing thread that matches the fairly matches the color of your base material that you're working with. Pair of scissors, and then a pin cushion so that we can take care of our pins and put them back safely. You also just need just a simple sewing needle. This is just a straight needle, it has a very small eye. And I've cut a very generous piece of thread. I want to say it's at least probably a yard long. And I don't double fold it up and knot it at the bottom, but I do leave, bring down so there's not too much of a tail. Just a little bit there. It allows me so that I don't have to constantly keep stopping and adding in new thread. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to start off on one corner and work our way from right to left. That's how this stitch is done. And it's also worked on the back side, right at our hem. So I have our fold. You'll notice we're going to be accessing this area right here. This is the fold. That is where all of our stitches are going to go into and dip into and come back up into this working area here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ignore this corner for now. I usually do. I like to start right here and just kind of stitch. And then what I'll do is then I'll start getting my corner. So what we're going to do is we're going to anchor our thread. I'm just going to come right up into the middle of that fold. And I'm going to get my thread anchored. I'm going to pull all the way up my excess there. I'm just going to take a couple of little kind of stitches into this hem, just a whip stitch. All I'm doing is securing that thread, and I've already locked it in place. It's not going to come out. Now we're actually going to start hem stitching here. So I'm going to take my needle. I'm going to go behind about 4 or 5. Here I got about 6 of them, that's 2. We don't need to count. I don't want you guys to get drawn up on counting, but basically what it looks like is it's less than 1/4 of an inch. We're going to go behind here, again working right to left. We always get caught up on that corner there. See how we already start kind of pulling it in? We're going to corral it. We're going to do that twice. Get it wrapped around there good and tight. Now I'm going to tug it and make sure it is secured, and I'm going to take a bite right down into the fabric just in front of it, and I'm going to emerge right up here into my second group, all within that fold. So you'll notice what it did, and it's going to do it right here. It's going to catch the hem and that little group that got corralled. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing. Put my needle behind a group of about maybe 5 or 6, go behind it, pull it. I like to do it twice. It leaves a cleaner, sharper little gathered mark. Again, you're going to go back down right in front of that group, emerge back up, all within just the fold. We never emerge into the front of our fabric. What you can see, what happens in the front of our fabric is there are little kind of lassos around those groups. That's why I call it corralling. It's an easier way for you guys to remember what you're doing there. And we already got a tiny little bit of a knot here. That will happen. And it's because I flipped over my fabric. So it's a good thing though, because you guys can see how I'm going to handle that, what I'm going to have to do. That's such a big knot. And I don't think I'm even going to worry about trying to get that out. I'm just going to cut it. You'll have to deal with this too. And that's okay. We're going to cut off our knot. I just went around my group twice. We're going to go back down right in front of it like we'd been doing, emerge up to our second group, and pull tight. I'm probably going to go around maybe just one more group. And then you guys can see how I'm going to end this thread too, and how I would begin a new thread. So actually it's kind of a benefit to see when something goes wrong, because then you can kind of see, well, how do you fix that when that happens? I'm going to corral it. And it's so short that my thread keeps coming out of my head of my needle here. That's okay. This will be our last group, and then we're gonna add in some more longer thread. I'm just going to do a couple of back stitches just like that. I'm getting rid of my thread and I'm also anchoring it. We've done plenty. We've done about 4 there. So we're done. I'm going to clip that close. I'm going to do the same thing that I started here. I'm just going to go up within this folded area. I'm not emerging at all into the front. So my thread is being completely hidden in this folded area right here. Get rid of my little tail. I'm going to do a couple of back stitches right at that hem, just a little whip stitches. And now I'm going to start over again. Get behind my group of 5 or 6. I went around it once. I'm going to corral it again. I'm just going right behind it and emerging in front, just making basically a circle around it. Going back out, down into my fold and emerging right back up into the center of that other group. And that's it. So it's good. You got to see what happens when we get a knot. It depends on the size of the knot. If it's really small and it allows you, a lot of times I'll work through that knot. I'll leave it on my thread and I'll pull it each time and it goes right through these little openings in the weave of the fabric, and it doesn't bother me. That was a pretty big knot and I needed to cut it out. We're just going to go all the way down to the end. So, you know, well, what do you need to watch out for in this? Well, you want to make sure that you maintain that these are perpendicular with the sides. If all of a sudden we decided to go way over here and then I'm wrapping way back here, those groupings are going to start to slant. So you're definitely going to want to watch out for that. Go up just about in the middle of your next group. And you know, like the saying says, a stitch in time is worth 9. Just take your time getting going here. And then you're also probably going, well, what do I do if I get to the end over here and I only have like 3? I'd say, you know, 3 groupings, 3 little threads to go through. Well, I would say start kind of planning at about 1 inch of the end, just so you can kind of space them out and they can all be about the same width. It's not too hard to do. Don't get caught up on counting all of these. You'll go crazy. You're just going to have to eyeball it and stitch around them. As long as you're consistent, it'll be beautiful.